So the first split text animation we're going to do is on page load. So we're going to select this text, which is in the hero section, and we're going to go to interactions, and we're going to make sure that we have the new GSAP interactions, and then we're going to go to page load as a trigger. Here it's gonna, give us the controls to play from the beginning, to delay, to control the speed. We can keep that as default, and then we can go to the actions, and in this case it's gonna be a custom action. We're gonna make sure we're selecting the class, which is this one. Now you can select with an ID or an attribute. This is up to you on how you structure a project. We're gonna give this duration. Actually, let's keep this here as a default 0.5, and then we can go to from. So it's gonna go from opacity 0 to 100, and it's gonna go from, let's say, 50 pixels on the y-axis to 0 pixels. It's gonna stagger in a total time of, let's say, 0.8 seconds. And we're gonna split text. So you can just select the split text here, and this is the cool part, that you can simply select it here. You can select if it's gonna be by word, line, or letter. Let's say in this case by word, and we can view this animation. You can see how it is here. You can also select mask, and if you see the mask takes, kind of like gives it that, what we would do is a div with an overflow hidden. This kind of does it automatically. It just masks it, and it looks nicer this way. Now we can play around with the values to make this a bit more interesting. So if we change the ease, it can look a bit different. The duration, if we give it more duration, and we can play around with this as much as we'd like to make this fit what we want. And this is basically it. This is basically how you make a page load split text animation now. Very simple, very straightforward. Of course, you can add more actions to your timeline, making this animation even more complex. And that's, again, up to you on your project. So let's call this page load split text. And now we can go on to see how we can split text on scroll. So for this section, for example, I want to split the text and show word by word on scroll. Same thing, I'm going to go and select the text. I'm going to go to the interactions, and this time I'm going to select scroll as a trigger. And then here you can see I can adjust where this starts and where this stops. So we can keep it as default for now, and we can come back to edit it later. But for now, we're just going to focus on creating custom animation. This animation is going to basically be the same thing. So from 0 to 100, and we're going to have from 50 to 0 along the y-axis. We're going to stagger, give it like 1 second this time. Split text by word. As you can see, it's already taking shape. And if I mask it even looks better. So as you can see here, I can already preview the animation, and you can see it starts at the start line here when the scroll starter hits start, and it ends when the scroller ends here. So this is where it ends. And these are the values that we can adjust. Now, say I go back here and I want to adjust this to perhaps end a bit before. So maybe I can say from when the element is at bottom, the viewport is at, like, let's say 80%, and this way I have it faster, so all the text appears. By the time I hit 80%, the scroll end is at 80%. I can of course adjust this further, 50%, or you can say center. And this gives it a different feel to the animation, a different timing, and that, of course, will depend on the use case that you have. Of course, you can adjust the smoothness and the scroll on scrub from here, which can be also useful. You can, of course, add more to your timeline as well to make this animation even further more complex. You can also do the highlight with the coloring. So if I go and select, say, the text color, and maybe I can take it from like dark gray to white, and that will be part of the animation as well. As you can see, if you don't mask it, you can see it better. Or line by line maybe as well, you can see this, turning from gray to white, giving it this highlight type of animation. And again, you can play around with this further to see how much you can do with this. So let's see the next type of animation, which is like basically I want it to just appear just like on the onload, but when I scroll to the section, again, this will be very simple, but we're going to use trigger action this time instead of scroll and scrub. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to give it a duration of 1 second, and from 0 to 100, and then from 50 to 0, we're going to stagger of 1 second, split text by word, and we're going to mask it. And if we preview the animation, it's smooth. This animation, however, will be triggered on enter. So when I enter, it's going to be triggered. However, when I leave, I want it to also be triggered. So when I leave, I want it to be reset. So this way, if you can view, when I enter again, it plays from the top. So this is always playing when I enter from the top. And that's basically it for scroll trigger animations. Now it's very much easier now to control it, to add more to it. Of course, you can add more of the animated properties, which makes it even more customizable, easy to see as well, because you visually have it right here. You have the timeline. It's easy to coordinate with other animations. This new GSAP UI is amazing. I'm very happy to be using it. I'm creating some cool animations that before took me ages to build and to add the code and to test. Now I can just do it right here, which is great. And I'm looking forward to more updates from this. However, I'll be making more videos to show you what I learned so far playing around with this. So stay tuned on that. Subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you soon.